Thank you so much, Ash, for that powerful survey of U.S. strategic engagement in the region. We have a brief period for questions, and I remind you that you must put your chip card in, press a button, the green light is on, and that would mean that you're in the queue, but your mic isn't yet on. I think I'll take 2 or 3 questions, and I'll first ask from the UAE, Dr. Ebdessan Al-Ketbi. Go ahead.
Thank you, John. And thank you, Mr. Carter. Allow me to put my question in Arabic.
Ooh.
I listened to this detailed presentation about the American commitment towards the stability of the... And with all these commitments and all this protection and all this huge amount that were expended for arming this region, it seems the region is far more than stability, is far from the stability and the security. This didn't protect as American from the American dominating and domination, and also from the intervening of the terrorism, or even from the ghost of the scattering even to some small states or countries or cities. Sir. So I look to the United States, I don't find any strategy. I find what the US are doing so far is just a tactics. And this is very clear in the war of ISIL. The USA doesn't have a plan to the period to what after the war of ISIL, as they didn't have also against Al-Qaeda. They didn't have any plan for the post-war of Al-Qaeda or ISIL. Sir.
Well, actually, it's the other way around. As I just said, we do have a strategy, and we're carrying that strategy out. And we're having some success in that strategy. And also, as I said, that strategy does foresee the future after the defeat of ISIL. I don't foresee this region anytime soon enjoying overall the stability and the peace that its people so richly deserve. I wish I did. But I don't think a realistic person can look around this region at all the problems and suggest that they're going to be solved anytime soon. What I can tell you, as I just told you, is that the United States is going to protect its own interests, but that those interests are frequently aligned with those of other countries, including yours and the government of your country. That's why we work together. Those interests aren't identical. And that doesn't mean that our partnership is going to solve all problems. But it does mean that our partnership will address, and because of our will and capabilities prevail, in pursuing those interests where we overlap. And they're very substantial. I'm confident that there is a strategy that it's shared with our regional partners here. And that we will address the principal problems that we see, the defeat of ISIL in a lasting way, countering Iran's malign influence, and other things. But I can't really realistically tell you from today's situation that there will be peace and stability everywhere in this region anytime soon. I really wish it were so, but I can't tell you that.
François.
Yes, thank you. Ash, the last time that we had an exchange in an IISS meeting, I asked you a hypothetical question about the possibility of a man called Donald Trump becoming president of the United States of America. This time I'm going to ask you a not-so-hypothetical question, but rather more retrospective question with some implications for the future. With your 30 years of distinguished experience in defense affairs, what are the lessons that you draw from the Red Line crisis of August 2013 after the Syrian government used chemical weapons against its own population. Did America's refusal to intervene at the time in a forceful manner, was this the pivotal moment which many consider to have been the case not only amongst America's rivals, but also amongst many of America's allies, with Russia seizing the diplomatic and the military initiative in the wake of that non-decision? Or is this narrative mistaken or overstated, and should it be allowed or not to color the manner in which we envisage the future of America's commitment in the region?
Well, my own view, Francois, is that there were many important moments in the last few years. It's a very complicated situation. You've pointed to one. It happens to be in Syria. But the challenges we face today are across the region, some of them not connected in any way to the particulars of that instance. So I think you have to look at the whole pattern, and you have to look at the whole pattern of U.S. Involvement here. I've explained what we're doing now, and I've explained why, in my judgment, our lasting commitments and the way that they overlap imperfectly but substantially with the interests of partners here in the region will keep those partnerships together and keep us working on, perhaps never finally resolving all of the challenges in the region.
We've just got time for two very quick questions. Dr. Abdullah Hamoudaddin from Yemen.
Yes, hi. You said at the end of your talk that those who are complaining that the U.S. isn't doing enough should be doing more themselves. Like what? Can you sort of elaborate on that?
Yeah, and I did try to lay out those areas where I think that regional militaries can do more. I pointed specifically in Iraq right now, for example, in addition to more support for the military aspects of the campaign, I think that regional powers here can do a great deal for the economic and political stability of Iraq and ultimately Syria going forward. Because of the geographic ties, the cultural ties, the historical ties, the ability to have credibility with peoples who have suffered very greatly from internal strife in recent years. And I also described, and I'll just repeat, the capabilities that we and our partners here are developing but need to develop more have to do with asymmetrical warfare capabilities, special operations forces, ground forces. Air forces tend to be quite heavily invested in, more in ground capabilities, cyber, ballistic missile defense. So there are a great number of areas where there remain capability gaps. And then finally, I'd say, as I said in the speech, that not just working bilaterally with the United States, but working among themselves is also very logical from a military point of view. I know it's difficult historically. I was talking, for example, about ballistic missile defense collectively among the GCC countries. That really makes sense, because it doesn't make sense to have a battery here and a radar there that are not connected. And difficult as it is to work across boundaries and through history here in the region, I think those are gaps that can be addressed by working together. So there's really a great deal that can be done, and that should be done, so that countries here can contribute more to our shared mission, even as the United States continues to contribute what is unprecedented military capability.
Dr. Carter has an important call on His Majesty the King of Bahrain shortly, so I think given how well-rounded that last answer to the question was, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Carter for attending and delivering his address to this 12th IISS Manama dialogue. Invite all of you to do two things. First, stay in your seats, because the next session will begin shortly. And secondly, to thank Dr. Carter for his address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you all. Good to see everyone.